Welcome back. Today is day 8 of 22. Again, this is a 22 episode course that I'm launching every weekday on YouTube, helping you leverage YouTube to generate leads for your business. In the previous couple of days, we talked about keyword research. I showed you the tools that we use, and today I'm demonstrating it because I really want you to master this. And I'm showing you real examples. These are real clients of mine and their topics. Now, this is a step that we typically skip over because we want to film an episode. We've got a brilliant, genius idea. But if you do what I'm going to show you here first, it'll guarantee that you have a built-in audience that will watch your videos, and this makes all the difference. So many people listen to all my other tips and strategies, but they don't get results on YouTube. They're not getting views, they're not generating leads. So watch what I'm going to do right here. Okay, the first example that we're going to dive into is a client of mine that is an OBGYN. Now, if that's not your business, I still want you to pay close attention and learn. Look at the examples that I find for her and try and understand why I chose ones and not others and how I did this process so that you can do the same thing. Okay, so you can see that I've actually already done some keyword research. We did some search around chlamydia, and I found these phrases. How long can you have chlamydia before it causes damage? Or what does it take for chlamydia to show up? Or how do you know if you have it? Or what does it look like on a man? Okay, so lots of different really specific questions that I've already done keyword research to find this for my client, but there's some down at the bottom that I have not researched yet. So you and I get to do it in real time, and you get to see what I do. So looking at these, I'm gonna go after this one. I like that one, gestational diabetes. And I'm meant to cut and paste. And I'm gonna add some more space. I'm just using a Google spreadsheet here. It's my go-to tool for this, so I can share it with my clients and whatnot. So if I copy gestational diabetes, okay, so I just paste that into my keyword magic tool. Again, you can find this tool at herokeywordtool.com, a free trial. All right, I always turn on the questions button. And then let's go to word count filter and start at my default of 8. That's where I always start. All right, so we've got some that have a little bit too high a search volume. Let me just scroll down a bit. Okay, so we've got a lot. Let's comb through these. Can you drink coffee before gestational diabetes test? I mean, that's a really specific question, so I'm gonna grab that one. Does it get better after 36 weeks? Grab that one. Is low blood sugar a sign of gestational diabetes? That's a good one. What can I eat? That's a little bit more general than just that one specifically, coffee. And then what do you do if you have it? These are kind of similar, like what do you do or what does it mean? I'll grab it for my client, but I don't know if she's gonna do both of those. What to eat for breakfast? That's pretty specific. Why is it worse in a second pregnancy? That's interesting. Or can it go away in a third trimester? How soon after birth does it go away? That's pretty cool. Okay, and then how to prepare for a test or what to eat before. Those are pretty similar. What fruit, if you want to make an episode just talking specifically about fruit. Can you get rid of it? How much weight do you lose? I don't know what this means. How to get fasting numbers under 95 for gestational diabetes. I'm sure that somebody knows what that means. That's really specific. So could you imagine somebody searching for that and finding a video that had that exact title, and this phrase gets searched 50 times per month? That's amazing to me. Okay, and I like this one. What are normal blood sugar levels? What if it's not treated? We might have grabbed one of those, but if it's a duplicate, I would just delete the one that's similar. Okay, and look at this. Which of the following is not associated with gestational diabetes? It's kind of a weird question because we don't know what follows. Sometimes I think that there are students that have a test and they copy and paste their test question into Google or YouTube to try and find the answer. And so that's why it would show up here, but that would not be a good title for your episode. Can you get it? Gestational diabetes from eating too much sugar? Or do you have to be induced? So, and I would keep digging, but I found some great ones and I want to show you what you do next. You used to have to export it. You used to have to come over here and download it and then copy and paste it over, but you can actually just do that directly. Hit copy, and then it'll come right over here to the spreadsheet. So in this leaf title column, in fact, I like to lock that in at the top so when I scroll, I've got my column headers there. So I'm gonna hit paste special, come over here to values only, And then this extra information I don't need. I don't use any of it. It doesn't apply to the type of keyword research that we're doing here. So it doesn't really apply to YouTube or organic. A lot of the keyword research numbers about competition have to relate to like keywords that you're using for paid advertising, if you're going to pay for that traffic and stuff like that. So I just don't use any of it. But do you see this list? Like just on that one topic, look at all the different ideas that my OBGYN client has now. These are awesome titles that are going to get her great results. And then I like to just make it look nice. I'll copy and paste that divider row right there. Okay, I've got another example that I want to show you, and I also want to share that my entire strategy that I'm teaching in this course coincides with my book. My book is called A Hero's Guide to Influence on YouTube, and you can get a copy of that for free as long as you're willing to pay the shipping costs. So go to natesyoutubebook.com. I'll put the link down below, natesyoutubebook.com, and you cover the shipping costs and I'll send you that book. Okay, this next example is in a different realm. Okay, we're talking about business culture, corporate culture, and you can look at the spreadsheet here. I've already done a lot of keyword research for my client here under employee engagement, how to increase employee engagement in the workplace, or how can an organization improve its employee engagement rate. One more here, how to hold managers accountable for employee engagement. I just love how specific these are. You can see that I've done a lot, but let's go down to the bottom where there's still more for me to do. Okay, I don't know that we've done any on diversity, so I'm gonna just paste that one up to the top of this section here, and I'm gonna add in the word workplace. Okay, so, if I bring that over, now let me type that in right there, diversity workplace, just putting those two words in there. And again, I always turn on these filters, the questions button and the word count filter. All right, let's see what we find. And again, we've got some that are pretty high search volume. We'll skip past those. All right, so starting at this one that's got 90, how to improve diversity and inclusion in the workplace. I like that. Why is diversity, equity, and inclusion important? So this is like a how and this is a why. So I'm going to check both of those. How to foster diversity. Okay, so how to foster and how to improve. Those, in my mind, those are pretty similar, so I'm not going to check that one. What are the benefits? So this is like, what's the outcome? I love that question. How do you promote it? So that's a different word, promote versus improve. I'm going to check both of those because I think we could make 2 different episodes on that. Create, okay, implement. Let's see if we find anything. How to incorporate it in the workplace. Okay, these are all pretty similar. Let's see, this one is interesting to me. Which option can be a communication barrier to workplace diversity? So that sounds like a multiple choice question. I'm going to skip over that one. This is a straight up kind of an honest question. Why do we need diversity in the workplace? I think that would be a good episode. And we could look at both of these. Why is cultural diversity important in the workplace? I think those are asking the same question. So really you could pick one or the other. So I'll just stick with that first one. Okay, this is a fun one as well. How do you celebrate diversity in the workplace? And then it's got embrace. I would say celebrate is a more fun word to me, so I'm going to stick with that one. This one's interesting. How do you handle diversity in the workplace, as if it's something that needs to be handled, or maybe the topic of diversity if you don't have a very diverse workplace. I'm just trying to think through this, what people might be asking. So I'll grab that one. And then this one's another angle on it. How does lack of diversity affect the workplace? So do you see how just typing in a couple of words, but using this tool the right way, turning on the questions filter, the word count filter, let's see how many we found. If I hit that copy button, take it over here, just paste the values only. Wow, that was almost exact to fill that space. Just delete that extra information that I don't need. And then I'm going to add in 2 extra rows above this. And then move that one back up. And then I'm going to grab this colored bar that I have here just to organize things so that you can keep things organized. So now I've got a whole section on diversity, workplace. Now, as you see me doing keyword research here, you probably have some questions on your own. Maybe you want to see me do some keyword research in your topic. Go to asknate.net. Okay, asknate.net. And I'm going to answer these questions in a live Q&A this Saturday. So I'm doing a live stream right here on YouTube, and if you submit your questions to me, I can answer it.